Welcome to CodiumAI. Today we're going to explore an open source project called Kubescape, created by Armo. Kubescape is a Kubernetes security platform for DevSecOps practitioners and platform engineers that enables you to identify various threats in your Kubernetes infrastructure. It is an open source project, and we're going to generate new tests from scratch for the platform using CodiumAI's VS Code plugin. Let's begin. Kubescape's Go codebase is tested in two main ways. The first one is the smoke test, written as a set of Python scripts that runs on the Kubescape CLI in order to check for various behaviors by examining the execution results. The second one is using Go in-model test files, like the one shown here. It uses the traditional Go testing library and relies on the Go functions themselves and not the CLI. Our tests are going to be of the second Go-style variant. Let's first look at the list command in Kubescape's CLI. Since we're still unfamiliar with the codebase, we can use CodiumAI to better understand how the code works. By clicking the CodiumAI annotation above the function, we can choose the explain functionality, which will open up the CodiumAI pane to the left and create an explanation of the code right inside the IDE. Noting that Cobra is a popular CLI library for Go, we can see that this function is in charge of listing various frameworks and controls scanned for by Kubescape. We'll begin generating tests for this function in just a moment. The list command is just a wrapper. We're interested in the actual functional code that does the work. Let's choose list support actions, which logically lists what actions are supported and go into the code. We can see we moved over to the core package, and we can use CodiumAI's test this function annotation to generate tests automatically for this function. Please note that CodiumAI's default test configuration is used in this generation. We'll revisit how to tweak it later on in the video. For now, please disregard the configuration toggle at the top. We can see that CodiumAI generated a variety of tests for this function that check quite a lot of different possible behaviors, including the happy path and edge cases. The number of tests generated can be toggled in the configuration, by the way. Note that in Go, the common testing habit is creating an _test file for each file you're testing, like with cluster connector shown here. We'll do just that for list by copying the list.go file into a list_test.go file. This will keep the inputs and whatever static variables we need in the file for our testing efforts. Let's copy the first test generated and then comment out the static variables in the file. We don't need them at this moment. Then delete everything in the file to make room for our test. Let's paste the test and wait for the imports to recalibrate for it. Note that the testing package is added by the Go extension automatically, and then run the test using VS Code's test runner. While the test is running, note that CodiumAI generated a simple unit test that checks whether the expected list of actions does indeed show up when list support actions is run. Also note how quick it is to generate a test using CodiumAI, and also keep in mind that the test might take a moment to run due to the compilation taking place in the background. Success! Let's scroll through the list of suggested tests to add another interesting test, one that checks the function returns an empty list where there are not supported actions. Let's copy the test, paste it beneath the last one. Note that the imports were updated. And I'll run the test again until it passes. Once we're done with the simple stuff, we can try and look at the behaviors coverage pane. It will show all the tests created by CodiumAI and allow you to generate more tests based on other behaviors the plugin suggests. Let's try and generate a test based on the fact that the function should return an empty list when no valid keys exist in listfunc. When we click Generate Test, a new test is generated at the bottom. And we can try and add it to our existing test suite that's slowly starting to take shape. This is a good time to note that we've been doing this for a couple of minutes now and already have 3 tests to our name strictly by using CodiumAI. Keep in mind that this repetitive process is something that can take a long time to do manually and saves a significant amount of time when trying to validate your code. And another green check mark. CodiumAI allows you to modify a test it has generated using free-form text in ChatGPT style using the "What would you like to change" box beneath each test. Let's look at the test that checks the sorting for the actions and ask CodiumAI to change it up a bit. It will refactor the test according to my instructions and output a whole new test with a new sort. Note how the test definition has also changed according to the newly created test. You can also create a completely new test by using the custom test functionality, and use the same prompt we just used to generate a new custom test using the new custom test button at the bottom of the pane. One last thing before we let you go. The configuration pane at the top of the plugin allows you to add general instructions that will be added to all generated tests, for example, formatting or other best practices. You can also add reference tests for the generation or toggle the number of tests generated. That's it for today's video of CodiumAI and Kubescape. If you want to use CodiumAI, you can download our VS Code extension, our JetBrains plugin, or the GitHub PR assistant not covered in this video. Thanks for watching!